Listen to me carefully. You think you need permission to start over, but you don't. You think you need some big dramatic moment, but you don't. You think you need to wait until you hit rock bottom, but you don't. The only thing you need is the decision. The decision to let go. The decision to stop being loyal to the person who's been holding you back, even if that person is you. Especially if that person is you. Because here's what nobody tells you about starting over. It's not about changing your circumstances. It's about changing your mind. It's about rewiring the way you think about yourself and what you're capable of. You've been running the same programs in your head for years. The same excuses, the same justifications, the same reasons why you can't. And those programs have been keeping you exactly where you are. So if you want different results, if you want a different life, if you want to become someone different, you need to reset those programs. You need to restart your operating system. You need to refocus on who you're becoming instead of who you've been. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking it's too late. You're thinking you've messed up too much. You're thinking you've burned too many bridges and wasted too much time. But let me ask you something. Who told you that? Who put that timestamp on your potential? Who decided that your past has more power than your future? Because I'm telling you right now, that's a lie. That's the biggest lie you've ever been sold. Your past doesn't define you unless you let it. Your mistakes don't disqualify you unless you agree with them. Your failures don't limit you unless you choose to stay there. You get to decide. You get to choose. You get to say enough is enough and walk away from everything that's been keeping you small. And yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. Yeah, people are going to question you. People are going to doubt you. People are going to remind you of who you used to be. But that's their problem, not yours. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your evolution. You don't owe anyone loyalty to your old self. The only person you owe anything to is the person you're becoming. Here's the thing about resetting your life. It requires you to get honest, brutally honest. Not the kind of honest where you make excuses and justify your situation. The kind of honest where you look at yourself in the mirror and admit that you've been playing small. You've been hiding. You've been settling. You've been choosing comfort over growth and safety over potential. And that honesty, that raw, brutal honesty, that's where the power is. Because you can't change what you won't acknowledge. You can't fix what you won't admit is broken. You can't grow past what you won't face. So right now, right this second, I need you to get honest with yourself. What are you holding on to that's holding you back? What are you afraid to let go of? What story have you been telling yourself about why you can't that's really just protecting you from trying? What relationship, what habit, what belief, what fear has been running your life? And once you identify it, once you name it, once you drag it out into the light, then you can make a choice. You can choose to keep it or you can choose to release it. But you can't do both. You can't keep your old life and build a new one at the same time. Let me tell you what restart really means. It means you stop making excuses for why you haven't started. It means you stop waiting for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is a myth. It means you stop looking for someone to save you because you're the only one who can. Restart means you take everything you learned from your failures and you use it as fuel instead of letting it become a weight. Restart means you wake up tomorrow and you don't check your phone first thing. You don't scroll through other people's lives first thing. You don't fill your head with other people's problems and news and drama first thing. You wake up and you take control of your morning. You take control of your mind. You take control of your day before the world gets a chance to control it for you. And that might sound simple, but simple doesn't mean easy. Most people can't do simple. Most people can't wake up and immediately take control because they've given that power away. They've trained themselves to be reactive instead of proactive. They've trained themselves to respond to life instead of creating it. You want to restart? Then you need to understand something fundamental. Your habits have been voting for the person you are. Every single day, every single choice, every single action has been casting a vote. And right now, if you look at your life, if you look at where you are, if you look at what you've created, that's the result of all those votes. That's the result of all those choices. That's the result of all those actions. So, if you don't like the results, if you don't like where you are, if you don't like who you've become, then you need to start voting differently. You need to start making different choices. You need to start taking different actions. And I'm not talking about massive, overwhelming changes that you can't sustain. I'm talking about small, consistent choices that compound over time. I'm talking about deciding that today you're going to do one thing differently. Just one thing. Maybe it's going to bed 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it's drinking water instead of soda. Maybe it's going for a walk instead of sitting on the couch. Maybe it's reading 10 pages instead of scrolling for an hour. Just one thing. And then tomorrow, you do that one thing again. And the day after that, you do it again. And eventually, that one thing becomes automatic. It becomes who you are. And then you add another thing. And another. And another. And 6 months from now, a year from now, you look back and you don't even recognize the person you used to be. But here's where most people fail with the restart. They try to change everything at once. They wake up on January 1st or Monday morning or after some big life event and they decide they're going to become a completely different person overnight. They're going to start working out every day and eating perfectly and reading every morning and journaling every night and meditating and building a business and learning a new skill and fixing all their relationships all at the same time. And what happens? They last 3 days, maybe a week if they're really motivated, and then they crash, they burn out, they give up, and they tell themselves that they can't change. They tell themselves that they're not disciplined enough. They tell themselves that other people have some special quality that they don't have. But that's not true. The problem isn't that they can't change. The problem is they tried to change too much, too fast. They tried to become someone different without respecting the process. Without respecting the fact that real change, lasting change, sustainable change, it happens slowly. It happens through small, consistent actions over long periods of time. It happens through showing up even when you don't feel like it. It happens through doing the work even when nobody's watching. It happens through staying committed even when you don't see results. Now let me talk to you about refocus, because this is where everything comes together. You can reset your mind. You can restart your habits. But if you don't refocus your attention, if you don't refocus your energy, if you don't refocus your vision, you're just going to end up right back where you started. Refocus means you get clear on what actually matters, not what society says should matter, not what your family thinks should matter, not what your friends expect to matter. What actually matters to you, what lights you up, what makes you feel alive, what you would do even if nobody ever knew about it, what you would pursue even if you never got paid for it, what you would build even if you never got recognition for it. That's what you need to refocus on. Because here's the truth, you've been focusing on the wrong things. You've been focusing on what other people think. You've been focusing on looking successful instead of being successful. You've been focusing on short-term pleasure instead of long-term fulfillment. You've been focusing on being comfortable instead of being challenged. You've been focusing on fitting in instead of standing out. And all of that focus, all of that energy, all of that attention, it's been taking you further away from who you're meant to be. Refocus means you eliminate, you cut out, you remove, you say no, you create space. Because you can't add new things to your life if your life is already full of things that don't serve you. You can't build new habits if all your time is consumed by old habits. You can't create new relationships if all your energy is going into toxic relationships. You can't develop new skills if all your attention is scattered across 1,000 different distractions. So you need to get ruthless about what you allow into your life. You need to get ruthless about what you give your time to. You need to get ruthless about what you give your energy to. You need to get ruthless about what you give your attention to. And that means some things have to go. Some people have to go. Some activities have to go. Some commitments have to go. Some beliefs have to go. And yeah, that's hard. Yeah, that's uncomfortable. Yeah, people are going to be upset, but you know what's harder? Living the next 10 years the same way you lived the last 10 years. You know what's more uncomfortable? Being 80 years old and wondering what could have been if you had just had the courage to let go and start over. Let me tell you what happens when you truly reset, restart, and refocus. You start to see opportunities you couldn't see before. You start to have energy you didn't have before. You start to feel motivated in a way you haven't felt in years. Because when you're not carrying around all that dead weight, when you're not dragging around all that baggage, when you're not holding on to all those things that don't serve you, you become lighter, you become faster, you become more powerful, and suddenly things that seemed impossible start to seem possible. Things that seemed out of reach start to come into focus. Things that you thought you could never do start to feel achievable. Not because anything external changed, but because you changed, because your mind changed, because your focus changed, because your energy changed. And when you change, everything around you changes. But I need to warn you about something. When you start to reset, when you start to restart, when you start to refocus, people are going to notice, and not everyone is going to be happy about it. Some people are going to feel threatened. Some people are going to feel abandoned. Some people are going to try to pull you back, because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your progress reminds them of their excuses. Your transformation reminds them that they could change too if they wanted to, but they're choosing not to, and that makes them uncomfortable. So they're going to say things like, "You've changed. You're different now. You think you're better than us. You're not the same person anymore." And you need to look at them and say, "You're absolutely right. I have changed. I am different. I'm not the same person." Because that's the whole point. That's the entire purpose. That's what reset, restart, refocus means. It means becoming someone you've never been before. It means letting go of who you were to become who you're meant to be. And here's what you need to understand about that journey. It's not a straight line. It's not always forward. Some days you're going to feel like you're making progress. Some days you're going to feel like you're going backward. Some days you're going to want to quit. Some days you're going to question everything. Some days you're going to wonder if it's worth it. And those are the days that matter most. Those are the days that separate the people who talk about change from the people who actually change. Those are the days that determine whether you're serious or just interested. Because anybody can start, anybody can get motivated, anybody can have a good week, but can you keep going when it's hard? Can you keep going when you don't see results? Can you keep going when nobody's cheering for you? Can you keep going when you're tired and discouraged and nothing seems to be working? That's the question. That's the test. That's what reveals who you really are and what you're really made of. Let me tell you something about focus that most people don't understand. Your focus determines your reality, not your circumstances, not your background, not your resources, your focus. Because whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on your problems get bigger. If you focus on your limitations get stronger. If you focus on what you don't have, you'll never have enough. But if you focus on solutions appear. If you focus on possibilities, opportunities emerge. If you focus on growth, you grow. If you focus on gratitude, you find more to be grateful for. So, the question isn't, what are your circumstances? The question is, what are you focusing on within those circumstances? Are you focusing on the obstacle or the way around it? Are you focusing on the pain or the lesson? Are you focusing on what you lost or what you can build? Are you focusing on who you were or who you're becoming? And this is where the refocus becomes critical. You need to refocus on your vision. Not the vision you had 5 years ago when you were a different person. Not the vision someone else created for you. Your vision, the one that excites you, the one that scares you a little bit, the one that makes you feel alive when you think about it, the one that requires you to grow into a bigger version of yourself. That vision, and you need to look at it every single day. You need to think about it every single day. You need to move toward it every single day. Even if you only move an inch, even if you only take one small step, even if all you do is think about it differently, that's progress. That's momentum. That's how you build the life you actually want instead of the life that just happened to you. But here's what you need to know about having a vision. Having it isn't enough. Wanting it isn't enough. Hoping for it isn't enough. You need to work for it. You need to sacrifice for it. You need to be willing to give up things that other people aren't willing to give up. You need to be willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do. You need to be willing to become someone that other people aren't willing to become. Because your vision, your real vision, the thing you actually want deep down, it's not going to come from doing what everyone else does. It's not going to come from following the crowd. It's not going to come from playing it safe. It's going to come from taking risks. It's going to come from betting on yourself. It's going to come from trusting yourself even when nobody else does. It's going to come from working when everyone else is resting. It's going to come from learning when everyone else is being entertained. It's going to come from building when everyone else is consuming. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to reset? Are you really ready? Because reset means you stop blaming other people for where you are. Reset means you stop making excuses for why you haven't started. Reset means you stop waiting for permission or validation or the perfect moment. Reset means you take full responsibility for your life, for your choices, for your results, for everything. And that's heavy. That's hard. That's uncomfortable. Because it's easier to blame. It's easier to make excuses. It's easier to point fingers and play victim and act like life is happening to you instead of for you. But that ease, that comfort, that safety, it costs you everything. It costs you your potential. It costs you your dreams. It costs you the life you could have lived if you had just been willing to take ownership and do the work. Are you ready to restart? Are you really ready? Because restart means you stop doing the same things and expecting different results. Restart means you stop hanging around the same people who keep you small. Restart means you stop engaging in the same behaviors that keep you stuck. Restart means you stop consuming the same content that keeps you distracted. Restart means you stop running the same patterns that keep you limited. And instead, you start fresh. You start new. You start different. You start with intention. You start with purpose. You start with a plan. Not a perfect plan. Not a complicated plan. Just a plan. Just a direction. Just a commitment to show up and do the work every single day, regardless of how you feel. Are you ready to refocus? Are you really ready? Because refocus means you stop caring what other people think about your journey. Refocus means you stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Refocus means you stop measuring your worth by external validation. Refocus means you stop letting other people's opinions become your reality. Refocus means you get so locked in on your own path, on your own purpose, on your own vision, that everything else becomes noise. And I mean everything. The criticism becomes noise. The doubt becomes noise. The distractions become noise. The temptations become noise. Because you're so focused on where you're going that you don't have time or energy for anything that's not taking you there. Here's what I want you to understand. This moment right here, right now, as you're hearing these words, this is your moment. This is your chance. This is your opportunity to make a different choice. You can finish this and go right back to your old life. You can finish this and tell yourself, yeah, that sounds good, and then list all the reasons why it won't work for you. You can finish this and wait for Monday or next month or next year to actually do something about it. Or you can finish this and decide that enough is enough. You can decide that this is the moment. You can decide that today is day one. You can decide that you're not going to waste another day, another week, another month, another year being less than who you're capable of being. You can decide that you're worth the effort. You can decide that your dreams are worth the work. You can decide that your future is worth the sacrifice. And when you make that decision, when you really make that decision, not just thinking about it but actually committing to it, something shifts, something changes, something clicks, and you start to move different. You start to think different. You start to show up different because you're not the same person anymore. You reset your mind. You restarted your habits. You refocused your energy. And now, you're becoming someone you've never been before. Someone stronger, someone more disciplined, someone more focused, someone more determined, someone who doesn't quit when it gets hard, someone who doesn't give up when they don't see immediate results, someone who understands that real transformation takes time, but it's worth every second of the struggle. Let me tell you what's going to happen in the next 90 days if you actually commit to this. If you actually reset, restart, and refocus. In the first 30 days, you're going to be excited. You're going to have energy. You're going to feel motivated. You're going to see small changes and they're going to fuel you. You're going to feel like you finally figured it out. Like this time is different. Like you've got this. And that feeling is real. That feeling is valid. But that feeling doesn't last forever. In the second 30 days, it's going to get hard. The excitement is going to wear off. The motivation is going to fade. The results are going to slow down. And you're going to start questioning everything. You're going to start wondering if it's worth it. You're going to start feeling tired. You're going to start looking for shortcuts. You're going to start thinking about giving up. And this is where most people quit. This is where most people say it's not working and go back to their old life. But not you. Not this time. Because you understand that this is the test. This is where you prove to yourself that you're serious. This is where you build the discipline that's going to carry you for the rest of your life. And then in the third 30 days, if you push through, if you keep going, if you stay committed, something magical happens. It gets easier, not because the work gets easier, but because you get stronger. Your capacity increases. Your tolerance increases. Your discipline increases. And the things that felt impossible in month 1, the things that felt overwhelming in month 2, they start to feel normal in month 3. They start to feel automatic. They start to feel like just who you are. And that's when you know you've actually changed. That's when you know you've actually transformed. That's when you know you've reset, restarted, and refocused successfully. Because it's not about what you do for a week or a month. It's about who you become over time through consistent action and unwavering commitment. So here's my challenge to you. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to pick one thing, just one thing, one habit you're going to change, one belief you're going to challenge, one behavior you're going to modify, one relationship you're going to address, one pattern you're going to break. Just one thing, not 10 things, not 5 things. One thing, and I need you to commit to that one thing for the next 90 days. No matter what, no matter how you feel, no matter what happens, no matter who tries to stop you. You show up for that one thing every single day for 90 days. And I promise you, I guarantee you, your life will be different. Not might be different, will be different. Because you'll be different. You'll have proven to yourself that you can commit. You'll have proven to yourself that you can follow through. You'll have proven to yourself that you're not just talk. You're about action. You're about results. You're about transformation. And once you do that, once you prove it to yourself with one thing, then you add another thing, and another thing, and another thing. And before you know it, 6 months have passed and you've completely transformed your life. A year has passed and you don't even recognize the person you used to be. 2 years have passed and you're living a life that the old you couldn't even imagine. Not because you got lucky, not because circumstances changed, but because you changed. Because you decided to reset. Because you decided to restart. Because you decided to refocus. Because you decided that you were worth the effort and you were willing to do whatever it took to become the person you were meant to be. So stop and start doing. Stop thinking and start acting. Stop planning and start executing. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is now. Stop waiting for permission, because you don't need anyone's permission to change your own life. Stop waiting for motivation, because motivation is a feeling, and feelings are temporary. What you need is discipline. What you need is commitment. What you need is a decision that regardless of how you feel, regardless of what happens, regardless of what anyone says, you're going to show up and do the work every single day, without exception, without negotiation, without compromise. That's what it takes. That's what separates the people who transform from the people who stay stuck. That's what separates the people who live their dreams from the people who just dream about living. Reset your mind right now. Let go of who you were. Let go of what happened. Let go of the mistakes and the failures and the disappointments. Let go of the limiting beliefs and the negative self-talk and the stories you've been telling yourself about why you can't. Let all of that go right now. It's not serving you. It's not protecting you. It's not helping you. It's holding you back. It's keeping you stuck. It's preventing you from becoming who you're meant to be. So let it go. Release it. Free yourself from it. And in that space, in that emptiness, in that clean slate, you get to choose. You get to decide. You get to create. You get to become. Restart your habits right now. What's one thing you can do today that your future self will thank you for? What's one choice you can make right now that moves you closer to your goals instead of further away? What's one action you can take in the next hour that proves you're serious about this transformation? Do that thing. Make that choice. Take that action. And then tomorrow, do it again. And the day after that, do it again. And keep doing it until it becomes automatic. Until it becomes effortless. Until it becomes just who you are. Refocus your energy right now. Stop giving your attention to things that don't matter. Stop giving your time to people who don't value it. Stop giving your energy to situations that drain you. And instead, focus on your vision. Focus on your goals. Focus on your growth. Focus on becoming better today than you were yesterday. Focus on progress, not perfection. Focus on consistency, not intensity. Focus on the long game, not the short term. Because that's where the real transformation happens. That's where the real change occurs. That's where the real magic exists. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your chance. Don't let it pass. Don't let it slip away. Don't tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow is a lie. Tomorrow never comes. All you have is today. All you have is right now. All you have is this moment. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to waste it like you've wasted so many moments before? Or are you going to use it? Are you going to seize it? Are you going to make it count? The choice is yours. The power is yours. The responsibility is yours. Reset, restart, refocus, and become who you were always meant to be. You know what separates the person you are from the person you want to be? One decision. Just one decision repeated every single day. That's it. That's the secret. That's what nobody wants to tell you because it's not sexy. It's not exciting. It's not some magic formula or hidden trick. It's just the decision to show up when you don't want to. The decision to keep going when you want to quit. The decision to stay focused when everything around you is trying to distract you. One decision repeated over and over and over until it becomes your identity. Until it becomes your character. Until it becomes your destiny. And that decision starts right now. Not later. Not when you're ready. Right now. In this moment. With whatever you have. Wherever you are. However you feel. The decision is made right now. And then tomorrow you make it again. And the next day you make it again. And you keep making it until you don't have to make it anymore because it's just who you are.